so this is an unboxing, as you can see, of a new piece of kit I have bought. So the reason why I've bought this, as you've watched my previous video, is just to basically go along with my new MacBook. So one of the drawbacks, if you like, of a MacBook is it only comes with one port primarily, which is a USB Type-C. Now there is various adapters on the market, but I don't normally plug a HDMI into it just because I have an Apple TV, so I utilise the AirPlay there on that one. So all I primarily need is USBs and memory card readers, which this has built in. Now the reason why I went for this one over an Apple one is, there is no cable, it plugs directly in, it kind of complements the MacBook, it matches and it looks just really good. And also as well, I've got really good write-up, so I thought I would give it a go. Bought this while I was abroad, which was £35. It had Amazon Prime on it, so it was with me when I got back from abroad. So I've got my MacBook now. I'll show you when it's all plugged in, and we'll go from there. But this is the packaging it comes in itself, quite an unusual looking package, but there we go. So you've got like plastics around, a bit of cardboard, and obviously then it keeps the device in there. So I have gone for the slate grey edition, obviously because it matches the MacBook that I have, which is slate grey. You can also get it in gold and silver, to obviously complement whichever MacBook you decide to have. And obviously you don't need to have a MacBook for this. It does obviously work with any other USB Type-C port. I've just got it because that is where you kind of primarily aim there. It is called a MacBook 12 because the MacBook is 12-inch, and there we go. So on the package itself, you can see it just basically states what it is. So premium high-speed 5.1 USB 3.1 Type-C USB hub. And there we go. So what have we got? So we've got obviously SD card reader. That's what I mainly want it for. And in fact, it has got a micro USB built in, which is pretty cool. USB 3, so you've got the fast data speeds there. I believe this has a 5 gigabit per second speed maximum. So it tells you what obviously port it is. So it is a relatively new port, USB Type-C. Obviously the MacBook, that is its primary port. Normally it would be Thunderbolt. On this edition, it has USB Type-C. It's plug and play. You don't need to plug any drivers in. Obviously, there is the 5 gigahertz transfer speed, which is more than enough for what I need. You've got a little LED indicator, which I believe is that little pinhole just there, which I will show you later on. But that flash is blue, and it is slim. And like I said, it comes in different colours. So you've got the slate grey there, which looks darker than it actually is. Silver, so on camera it does look like the silver one, but it is actually the space grey one and obviously a gold. One cool bit about this one is obviously it has a charge pass-through. So obviously when you've plugged a device into that one USB Type-C port, it's then being used. So if you need to then plug your back, charge the device up, you're going to have to either pull it out, whereas this one, I can plug in the charge and also use the USB ports, no problem at all. Obviously power input, SD card slot, micro SD card slot, and then 2 standard Type A USB Type 3 port, which is cool. Obviously on the back there, obviously because of its main audience, I've got a picture of a MacBook there, and it slots right in it. Like I said, it's very flush, it fits the kind of, the dimensions of the MacBook, which is pretty cool. Specifications wise, there you can see it's 5 volts, very, very small power needed for this one. Windows 7, 8, April 1, and obviously Mac OS 5, 10.5 and above. Well, I've got the latest, so El Capitan, so there should be no issues there. There is the barcode if you wanted to jump on Amazon and get it. I got it in the UK Amazon store, but I'm sure it's available worldwide. And that's that really. What we'll do now, we'll unbox it, have a quick look around, and then get the MacBook here and have a look. Now, there's a couple of ways you can kind of unbox these. You can push the cardboard through, or normally if you just pull from the top, there you go, you can hear the click. The actual plastic itself will come away from the device itself. So it's a bit of an annoying case, but it's cool if you like to retain all your packaging and sell these on. Retains the value a little bit. So it's just kind of 2 plastic sandwiching the cardboard together. Check those out now. And there we go. So that is the device itself. Obviously we've got the brand in there. So Promate, MacBook 12. That is the indicator light. Now on the front, there you go. There's obviously the interface there. Got a bit of silver there. You've got 2 very small screws there. Not that I'm going to be opening this up. On the bottom, obviously, it gives you various things you need to know. Obviously, the model and stuff like that, interface, just power consumption really, and made in China, and the various markings there for it to work in the UK. Looking around, obviously, there is your USB power, pass through there. There is your micro SD card slot. There is your standard SD card slot, and your 2 USBs. But what I'm going to do now is just going to get a couple of devices, and we'll just plug them in here, and then I'll plug them into the MacBook just to show you how they go in. So I believe the SD card slot is upside down just by looking where the contacts are, and we'll go from there. Okay, so as I was correct, so the micro SD card goes in standard, so with the label of the brand facing towards you. USBs, as you can see, that is fully in. So it sticks out a little bit, but it goes in quite nicely. So that's just a USB hard drive cable there, but plug in anything, it doesn't matter. I plugged in my iPhone, and it works no problem at all. And obviously, like I say, the SD card itself has to go in upside down. So it won't actually go in the device. If you try, it just physically will not go in. It kind of stops you. So to get it in, you just have to put it upside down, pop it in. Only goes in a little bit just so the contacts are touching, and that's that. So that's what it looks like there. So what we're going to do is obviously introduce the MacBook now, show you what that looks like, show you the speeds. But apart from that, it looks pretty cool, and we'll check out the performance of it. Okay, so with the Promate MacBook 12 hub in, as you can see, I'll try and get the best perspective I can. Footprint-wise, it is pretty much bang on to where we need it to be, so it's quite flush with the Mac. It fits, like I said, it's been designed obviously for the MacBook, so it fits really well. Obviously, if we look out here, it doesn't stick out too much, and it is very, very flush. Now, as I say, the only limitation I've found with this is it does get quite hot when you're transferring things. Now, I don't know if that's meant to be like that, hopefully it is, but that's the only thing. Everything else seems fine. Obviously, we've got a little LED light there. It doesn't flash when it's accessing data, it will just stay solid blue. So what we'll do, we're just going to test basically the speed test app. We'll point it at one of the SD cards and see how that goes performance wise. Obviously, it's got a throughput of 5 GHz, so I should find no issues whatsoever. But then what we'll do as well, we'll do also a speed test on the actual built-in SSD then, see how it will perform. Okay guys, so we're going to use Blackmagic's Designs speed test. I'm just going to use this, which is a standard standard SD card. It's 16 gig by SanDisk, and it is a class 10 30 megabits per second. Just going to pop it into the adapter now. It should come through in just a second. There we go, it's in. And there we go. So if we just launch Blackmagic, ignore photos. So just give it the photos in the background there. So we're going to select the target drive so we know where we're pointing towards. And let's go for Cam SD, choose that. And we're now going to stress it out with 5 gigabits per second and see what performance we get. I will also be doing this with the MacBook Pro with Retina display as well, just behind it, just so we can get a comparison. So let's give this a go. So it's stopping kind of at 8.6 megabits per second on the 5 gigahertz right, and we're reading at 33 megabits per second. So that's with 5 gigabytes requested kind of thing. So we'll just try that with 1 gigabyte now, see if that's any better. So we're pretty much staying at the 10 megabits per second kind of range on the right there. And then on the other one, so on the read, we're getting just under 40 megabits per second there. So we're going to try a USB hard drive now, and then we'll try it on the MacBook Pro with Retina display, because obviously that's got the ports directly on the system board. Okay guys, so we are now using the MacBook Pro. I'm going to use the SD card now, and the MacBook Pro Retina has a built-in SD card reader, so I'm not going via a hub. So let's select it. We're going to go for the 1 GB stress test first. We're going to then select target drive, and we are SD cam underscore SD. That's fine. Start test. So as you can see, 12 meg, dropping a little bit to 11 meg, 10 megabits per second, and a read speed of 44
megabits per second. Let it run again, pretty much staying where we were, so it goes a bit fast at the beginning, drops down and stabilises towards 10 meg, 9 meg. That's good. We'll now stop it and select 5 GB and see how we get on that one. So again, even with maximising the file size we want to write, 5 GB size, we are maxing out at about 9.4 megabits per second there, and a read of 44.6 megabits per second there. So what we're going to do now is head on over to the read test and write test on the MacBook.
Okay guys, so I've just got this standard Toshiba 500 gig hard drive I use just for various things. Goes into a USB caddy adapter with a USB super speed cable into obviously the USB 3 port on the adapter there. So let's use my target drive. So Untitled, that's the hard drive. Choose that bad boy. We'll leave it at 1 GB just for now, and then we'll change it to 5 GB. See how we go. So we'll just go there. Okay, so we were hitting 97.9 megabits, so just shy of 100 megabits per second on the right, and we're currently reading at 97, so again, just shy of 100 there on the read. So obviously the longer it goes on, the faster it seems to get. So that's the 1 gigabit. Now let's try the 5 GB file. So again, we kind of get up to 100, just under 100 eventually. So 96 there on the read. Again, creeps up just under 100 megabytes per second on a USB 3 drive. So it'll be interesting to try my LaCie in a minute, because that's RAID 0, which is stripped. So I'd hope it will go faster than that, because I use that for my 4K editing. That's cool. So what we're going to do now is put the MacBook aside. There is a MacBook Pro just behind it, and we're going to try it with the ports on there and see how we get on. Okay, so I've plugged it in directly into a USB 3 port on the MacBook Pro with Retina display, and just to show you which one it is. So we have obviously the Media 2012 Retina display, 2.3 GHz Intel Core i7, 8 GB of RAM as well. So let's select the drive. So we want Untitled here, just the same, and choose that one. We'll go for 1 GB as well, and let's go. So just before we was hitting just under kind of 100 megabits per second there, and looks like we're hitting about the same, which is great. So that means my hub is not causing a bottleneck, which is great. So as you can see, we're just hitting the 95 again. So pretty much the same, guys. So the hub itself is doing its job. It's got more than enough bandwidth. It's not being slowed down because it's going through an adapter. You can see we've got a bit of an abnormal result there. It's gone up to 103. So we lose a couple of meg then by the look of it, but nothing catastrophic there. So after a couple of tries, it will hit the 100 mark. But again, it's pretty hit and miss whether it'll do it. So as you can see, the results keep changing. But well, it's safe to say on average, it's probably going to be exactly the same. We'll just change it now to 5 GB for the file. Let's see how we get on. So this is a bigger file, so it'll take longer to read and write. And again, we're pretty much the same. So 99 there, just under 100 meg. And again, the read is creeping up and up and up. We're going to go over 100 megabits per second. Yeah, look at that, 100 megabits on the dot. So we lose a little, a couple of meg here and there. If I kept it running on the MacBook, I could probably get the same results. As you can see, it's a bit hit and miss. The results are a bit up and down, but a couple of meg out either way. So the adapter itself is doing its job very well. It's speed-wise exactly the same, which is great. Okay guys, so I've plugged in the LaCie into my Promate hub, USB 3. We're going to now select it in Finder. We'll go for the 1 GB speed test now. And LaCie. And let's see how we go. So 230, 245. And then 306, 309 kind of on the right, that's good. So we're again peaking up a little bit again, 307, 3. So they kind of match each other once they get a bit warmed up, if you like. So that's great. That's where I want it to be. We'll go for the slightly bigger file size and go from there. So when they're being kind of constantly written right to 312, 315, so 312, and again matching each other, that's great. So it just goes to show the speed of the drive is keeping up with the USB 3 interface, just as it would with the Thunderbolt interface. That is brilliant. Okay guys, so I've now plugged in my LC. It's, as you can see, it comes up, use, it is a Thunderbolt at the moment on this Thunderbolt cable. So it's 2 drives, both 4 terabytes, and they are on RAID 0. So this strips the data, so it goes, one goes to one drive, one goes to the other. So let's find out how quick this one goes. Now I would expect this to go quite quick, because this is where everything goes. So we'll go for 1 GB and see how quick we can get it via Thunderbolt. So on the write speed we've got 232, and on the read speed we've got 305. So that's more than capable for everything I need it to be. It's not as quick as a built-in drive. I don't think you'll ever will achieve that, but it's more than quick enough. Go for the 5 GB, just double check it is on the LC. Yeah, let's see, that's cool. And we'll start. So on the big files it does do slightly better, so 310 we're hitting, which again is fine. So that's good. And on the read speed there we're getting 310. So again, pretty much matching each other to an extent there, which is great. So that was with the Thunderbolt. Now what I'm going to try now is using the built-in USB 3 cable I can get for it. And we'll go from there. So I've now selected the LC. We are now using the USB 3 interface. So we'll go for 1 gig again and see how it kind of compares. So again we're at the 241, which again is still a very respectable speed for it. And the read there we've kept creeping up to 261 in the end. Oh, there we go, even faster, 310. As we kind of leave it to keep retesting, it keeps kind of getting faster and faster, but now we're kind of settling at speeds which are 315, 10 to 313 right, which is great. So we're going to stop it there. See how we get along with the 5 gigahertz speed, 5 gigabyte test. So 320 repeated there, so 315 give or take on the write, which is great. And on the read there we've got 313, yeah, fantastic. So again, that's great. Really respectable speed, it's more than enough for 4K. Yeah, so say more than enough for 5K, so that's brilliant. So what we'll do now, we're going to switch back over to the MacBook. We're going to plug in this C drive, because this is my primary storage device with 8 terabytes. You know, it's where all my 4K footage, all my photos I've ever had goes onto there. And then again, it's then mirrored over to a Synology drive. So this is my redundant backup. It is designed for speed, so I can edit it directly from the drive if I'm running low on memory. But that's great speed for me. So we're going to test it, and we'll also show you the inbuilt SSD speed on the MacBook. So as a realistic speed test here, you can see I'm just transferring a lot of my holiday footage I recorded on my GoPro. So we did quite a lot of quad biking, which I pretty much recorded most of it. And as you can see, copying over to my LC, which is just behind the MacBook there, you can see, via a USB 3 cable, which you can see is plugged into my hub. We are getting pretty decent speed, so that is taking under 5 minutes to transfer nearly 120 GB of videos. That is awesome. Now what we're going to do is show you the speed of the Mac's built-in SSD. So Mac HD. Oh, so let me just quit out of it, so then it goes back to its default drive. Cool, so we're going to just do 1 gigabit per second. So you can see it's that quick, it doesn't quite have time to kind of show the correct speed. So what I'm going to do now is pause it and put it on a 5 gigabyte package, and then we'll get a true reflection. So as you can see, it goes directly off the scales to nearly 800 megabits per second on that read. And then on the right, read is nearly a gigabit per second, and the write is nearly a gigabit per second. So you can see the built-in SSD on this MacBook is superb. It's so quick. It's more than quick enough for everything that I need to do. I reckon if we left it longer, it probably might topple over that, nearly a gigabit per second. As you can see, it's off the chart kind of stuff, and it's really, really quick. So I'm really impressed. So this is more than capable of rendering video, and the speed of the hard drive itself is not going to slow down. It'll be more the processor. So guys, hopefully that's quite in depth for you. That is the speed test results of various equipment going through a hub. Highly recommended, this hub. It does get quite warm. I don't think that's anything to be concerned with. But yeah, this has been a look at the MacBook 2016 edition. Yeah, any issues or anything else you would like to know about it, let me know in the comments and I will try and address them as best I can. Just to let you know, this whole video will be edited on here, because as you can see, I have Final Cut Pro on here, and it loads again in quite a respectable speed. If I stop that now, give it a chance to pop up. Things do open fairly quickly, which I would expect, because again, the hard drive itself is more than equipped to deal with it. And yeah, this will all be edited on this machine. So in conclusion, guys, in my opinion, I think this is a great bit of kit and is more than plucky enough to keep up with demands. Obviously, it's never going to be as good as an i7, or it's never going to be as good as my Retina display, even though it is 4 years newer, because it hasn't got the proper things like proper, laptop processor in it, Core i7, nearly 3 GHz and a dedicated GPU. But this has been fantastic, and all the footage you're going to see and record is edited on this bad boy. So thanks for watching.